How are you doing today? That seems like it would be hard. Well, don't worry, Grandma. Let's take a look at every board game campaign finishing up this week. That's what Crowdfunding Countdown is all about. I'm not here to listen to your woes. I'm not here to listen to who played incorrectly in Bridge. No! Let's look at every single board game campaign. And let's actually not. Honestly, this week, we're not gonna. Because I have like 25 tabs open, and I need to be more selective because in these 25 tabs, there's probably not going to be any good ones. I can already say that. But I say that every time, and then I'm usually wrong. There's usually one fine one. So I hope that you are the one fine one. But you know which people are even finer? Of course, my patrons, and a huge shout out goes out to my newest patrons, Rich and Worship Geek. Thank you so much for jumping on board, supporting the channel. You're awesome. You both are really awesome, and I appreciate you a whole ton. Just like I appreciate everybody who hits that little thumbs up button. Give that little thumbs up a pinch, and let's get into it. Also, huge shout out to Brett for also jumping on board. Thank you so much, everybody, for jumping on the Patreon. You're all the friggin' best. Yeah, I changed. Sometimes it takes some time to do these flounding clown downs. Brett signed up. Thank you for signing up while I was doing the second half of this video so that I could include it as the shout out. First off, I know you don't want me to look at print and plays, but I'm gonna. And then if it's good, I'll leave it in. How about that? If it's mediocre, I'll leave it in. How about that? We've got Town Constructor. Construct your town in the best possible way in this strategy roll and write print and play board game. Imagine you were a town planner and you have a blank sheet of paper in front of you. You can create your own town. I mean, come on. If I cut this one, we wouldn't get that scintillating copy. Now, would we? You can build yourself a city of opportunity. London, Ontario, where I grew up, and my parents live, has a theme song called London is the City of Opportunity. And I don't know if I've ever spoken about this, but it is literally the worst theme song imaginable. It's the Night Cage of theme songs. Let's just leave it at that. Anyway, it says, imagine a city where a river runs through it. Imagine a city the way you want it to be. London is the city of opportunity. And then it goes on to list the magical things you might find in London being the city of opportunity. So imagine a factory where there wasn't before. Imagine a house. Imagine a store. Wait a minute. You're telling me my city could have stores in it? You're telling me that my city might have houses in it? Get right out of town. Get out of here. London's the city of opportunity. What else can I say? What else can I say? The game is divided into 15 rounds. During each round, players will construct buildings and adjust property value on the estate market. You roll, you construct, and you adjust. Oh, I see. So you can choose which building to build, and then another building adjusts? Oh no, another dice adjusts. You choose which one to adjust. Oh, okay. And then from round 4 on, you get to score, and so you score in columns and rows. Columns and rows, buttons and bows. That's not a song. Yeah, these columns and rows, and you can score them, and you want to score the most points by moving things up and down. Actually, that kind of looks neat. And then you also get points for the largest groups of all building types. So you also want to keep that in mind. Ooh, a speed up playthrough. Yes, please. That's better the drawing than I could ever do whatsoever. Yeah, this actually seems kind of cool. How much are you? €3, $5 Canadian. I think this game has merit to it. And it's staying in! If you're interested in that finishes Tuesday, October 24th at 4:06, but it's print and play, so you can probably always download it forever. Let's move along to Cretaceous Rails, which sounds like some sort of indie band. It sounds like a band that whoever Scott Pilgrim is interested in would listen to. That's what Cretaceous Rails sounds like. A medium-weight Euro game for 1 to 4 players. Build a rail and resort empire in the Cretaceous era. Do you have what it takes to dominate the time travel tourism industry? Well, we're about to find out. You can also get Cretaceous skies and a little volcano. That was my nickname in high school. Little Volcano. My former rapping name before the oddity. Little Volcano spitting fire. Hang out to dry on the clothes wire. I've gotten better, I swear. Egyptian drought leave you in denial. Well, Alex says running a time travel dinosaur resort has rarely been so rewarding, so it has been rewarding to him in the past. Confirms my suspicions about Senor Radcliffe and why he never seems to age. You're going to take the helm of a time travel tourism company to provide the best vacation experience for all tourists in the Cretaceous era. Yeah, you don't want to go to the Jurassic era. Disgusting. Fossils over there. Build a rail network into the jungle to take the tourists on safari to see their favorite dinosaurs. It's ever $60 on crowdfunding exclusive edition. Oh no, gonna be expensive then. Yeah. $79 for a bunch of fun little dinos though, and trains and tourists. Feels like you get a lot of stuff, but is the game good? You know what innovative system they're not using? The sidebar. Yeah, here's what they're picturing. Each turn, place an executive on an unoccupied space between 2 tiles in the action grid, and take both actions on either side of your executive. Cool. So that's a fun little action selection, and that's modular too, so that's exciting for replayability. See, it's re-randomized every round. I like that as an idea. Oh, okay, and you actually do have to clear the jungle in order to make other actions possible. I think this stuff just exists on the board to start, which also seems fun. Like in a lot of games, you don't use the minis, but if they're actually like a set piece of the game, that also speaks highly of it. You got to load up your train and then unload your train, unless you time things to fill your train by the end of each round. 3-level tableau building. And each card will give you a better ability if it's on a higher level. But each time you take a build action, you have to build them on the same level. No, we don't need to see the companies. We need to see the rules. They have a solo mode, where you can face off against AI. There you go. Oh, and you can get the Cretaceous Skies expansion, so it's not really free. It's just, like all these pictures of the minis, they should be on the other one, but they're just, this is the marketing aspect. It's like, ooh, look at all this plastic. Oh, here there's no plastic, but there is plastic there. It's very clearly that there's plastic in that first round, but they're just putting the picture like that, so it seems like you're getting a lot more for that extra $30 than you are. You get a bunch of these aviary tiles. You can add pteranodons to your aviary tiles, which unlocks a chaining ability. So if you do that, you get that, I guess, with the little arrows. And then variable start and end game scoring modules as well. And then a 5th player expansion and just some volcanoes. Shipping to Canada is $29. So for this, for me, we're looking at still like $140, $150. Shipping to the US is $17. So minimum $96. You're almost looking at $100 for that core game. My gut says that the core game will just be fine. The core game, the sketch looks neat, but where's the damn rule book? God damn it. Why do you not exist? Can I tell you how ridiculously disappointed I am in this right now? Because it's, this looks fun. The sketch looks cool. Where's the friggin' rule book? Where can I read the rule book? Here's the link to the rule book. Why is this not on your damn friggin' page? Thank you for including it. But why is it not on the main stupid page? I'm so mad. Enough of this. Enough of this. If it's a frequently asked question, put it on the main page. I don't know if I'm too mad to read this. Probably. Anyway, the object of the game is to have the most successful rail and resort company after 4 rounds. Yes, we know. The last player to have seen, heard, or felt a train goes first. You know, when you're deep in the dark night and you reach out your hands into the misty fog and you feel the hard thrumming steel behemoth. Yeah, you get to go first. We know the crux of it is place an action person with a 1, 2, 3, 4, so you remember what you placed. Here are the actions. You can lay rails. Easy peasy. You just go ka-chunk ka-chunk. Your rail network may fork as many times as you wish. That sort of game, eh? Talking about adjacency, that feels pretty self-explanatory. It's anything that's touching a node that your trains are touching. Train cars. So you can add train cards to your train so that you can hold a bunch of stuff. Either tourists or shrubbery or dinosaurs. At the end of each round, you unload all your train cards, or you can skip something. Okay, cool. You can clear jungle. Take a jungle token from any hex adjacent to your network. Yeah, this is a jungle token, and you want to clear the jungle because you can't use a hex for a safari action or to capture a dinosaur if it's got jungle on it. However, you might be clearing it for somebody else. And of course, what's determined to be on there is already on the tile, so you put that up in your setup. You can take tourists who love their specific dinosaur color. That makes sense. They're like little Pokemon trainers. The dad loves his T-Rex, whereas the mom loves her Parasaurolophus. That's the right way of doing it. Saying it. Don't look it up. Because it's all about moving these rating markers on your player board for that dinosaur color type, rating your park as to what people love to see. You can use captured dinosaurs to build resort cards or for victory points, depending upon their rating, and then you can also draw resort cards and add special abilities to your resorts, rather. The cost being up top. the effect down here, and the level bonus multiplying by where it is. Also, you'll see here that they don't have a rulebook for their expansion, aka why would you ever get that stupid expansion? You shouldn't. But yeah, why is that rulebook not on the damn first page? It's still $140 for me in Canada. It's like $100 for you if you're in the US. Definitely seems fun. Definitely seems like a lot of plastic. If you like the theme, I could see this being interesting. I think the reason to get this one would be if you really want a bunch of the same little plastic dinosaurs. I also feel with like minis, plastic minis, there are differences in quality, and I feel like with this many, they're probably going to be those sorts of like spongy ones that aren't going to break if you just throw them all in the box, which is honestly pretty good. It's good that they're durable, right? Make them durable. You don't need to paint them. It just adds some character and color to the game. Yeah, I think this looks okay. So if you're interested in that, that finishes Wednesday, October 25th at 1:59 a.m. Moving along to League of Dungeoneers Expansion and second print, a reprint of the well-received dungeon crawler game League of Dungeoneers, as well as a new expansion, The False Prophet. My other crowdfunding countdown that should be out here is stuck at 95%, and I'm gonna lose it. League of Dungeoneers, which I believe somebody was mad didn't appear in the top 10 dungeon crawlers, like it all. Out of the 75 dungeon crawlers listed, nobody wanted to put it in their top 10. And there was one person in the comments who I think was upset, or a couple people, and to you I say, should have joined the Patreon. But let's check out this one with this massive new expansion, which is exactly what campaign games need. More boxes, and a reprint. League of Dungeoneers is a huge 13 kilograms dungeon crawl board game with standees and tiles. Jeez, what is all in this? There's so much stuff then. It's character driven, focuses on journey, struggles, and growth of your party of heroes. The game is not a race to some arbitrary end game with some overhyped huge boss battle. Instead, your heroes will keep going, testing their might against stronger opponents, tougher challenges, and searching for rare legendary treasures, filling their pockets with as much coin as they can carry. It's like the most cookie cutter, stereotypical dungeon crawler that I've seen in a while. Very similar to Dungeon Universalis, and you can go on the exciting journey from zero to hero. Each quest will send you on a completely unexplored dungeon, because dungeons are randomized. The map will be gradually revealed to players as their characters explore the catacombs, and you'll do battle with 100 different types of enemies. And this is something that I do like. This is something that Chronicles of Barnacles of Dumbledore gets right, is that the dungeon is a mystery, right? With 7-link campaign, almost 50 single quests, the core game offers hundreds of hours of gameplay. Yeah, it's a miniature agnostic game. Good on you, Dungeon Universalis. League of Dungeoneers. Who the heck even knows? You don't need a bunch of minis. They very well could have put a whole crap load of minis in, but instead they decided to put a whole crap load of cards in again as well. So, yeah. I think if you just wanted a stereotypical standard dungeon crawler, this is the thing that would fit the bill. Combat seems basic. Monsters seem basic. Oh, you have a mental state here too. There's a huge travel element as you go to different places on the board, on a hex grid map, but you might be ambushed on your travels, or quests that are not connected to dungeons. Cool. I like that exists. Got 30 different potions. There's a lot to this game. This is the first standalone expansion, so it's a standalone expansion, though it requires the core game to play. It does not require the Companions, Range, and Lands expansion. Then it's not a standalone expansion. If it requires the core game to play, it's not a standalone expansion. Let's say it louder for the people in the back. No, you're not a standalone expansion because, well, here's the way you figure it out. You can't stand alone. I guess words just don't have any meaning anymore. Ah, yes, this is also now the best worker placement game too, because one of your characters is a worker. League of Dungeoneers, you just trashed your credit. Wow, you get more stuff, and more stuff, and more stuff. 2 new playable species are introduced. The sullen duck folk, which is literally, okay, it's Darkwing Duck. It's Darkwing Duck that they clearly stole. Is it not Darkwing Duck? I'm pretty sure it's Darkwing Duck. And then the half ogre. God, I get it. It makes me so mad. Oh, it just makes me so mad. What's shipping? The knave is £39. Okay, don't know what that is. Knave, I assume, is just the base game. The base tier, so it's an extra $39 to get to your door in the US. Canada is $45 to $51 in shipping. This is just absurd. As it moves up to the king, I mean, I get it. It's very heavy game physically. I like that the false prophet's only €45. That's nice. It's not nice that shipping is so much. €85 for the base tier. That feels reasonable, and then shipping is just so friggin' expensive. Yeah. Do they even have a rulebook? I don't think they have a rulebook for the new stuff. They should have a rulebook for the base game, but they don't. They just throw, I mean, like, I'm sure it's out there. Why is it not on this page? Because they just want you to buy in based upon the description. I mean, it's fine. I think why it's not on the main page is because, well, it's as cookie cutter as it gets, and it's standalone. The rulebook, it's a standalone rulebook. That's why. It's a standalone rulebook. Anyway, if that interests you, I'm not that interested in it. That finishes on the 26th at 7 a.m. It seems like one of those games that just, if you love the genre, you might love just diving in over and over and over again. For me, I want my games to do a little bit more. And I know this does a heck of a lot. And I know this has a whole bunch of content associated with it. But I also could envision the same repetitive game loop the whole time, you know? I don't see the through line. Maybe I do want a through line. Maybe I do want a storyline. Maybe I don't just want a rinse and repeat, go through, fight different monsters. I think because the combat system just seems fine. It's just dice rolling. It's comparing stats to stats. It's stat checks, right? And I like stat checks when used in moderation, and this feels like maybe it's completely stat check based. But check it out if you want. Again, that finishes on the 26th over on Gamefound. Moving along to Diatoms, a game of microscopic proportions, a puzzly tile placement pattern-making game based on the obscure Victorian art form of creating microscopic mosaics out of algae. If that was a real thing, that's interesting. Let's check it out. That kind of looks cute. How much are you going to be? Cheapy or expensive? 45? Yeah, that might be okay. Nice. So Diatoms is a stunning, puzzly tile placement pattern-making game. I'm very intrigued by this potentially dual-layer player board. Look, it's got an exclamation mark next to it. Why do you think I'm interested? Basically, I think I got a pretty good sense from the video. I'm just going to check the rulebook to see if my assumptions are correct, which they generally are. You're going to place a tile, and then wherever that intersects with a bunch of other tiles, you get a certain number of algae and algae in that color. And so in this, you see 4 little slices of pie. You get a square which has 4 sides, right? That seems to make sense. Oh, look, the 3 is a triangle. Of course I'm right. 2 is this little skinny oval, which makes sense, and 1 is just a circle. Anyway, you place them into your main board, and then you're trying to make specific patterns based upon the variable score conditions. I think that looks simple. Yes, give me the rulebook. I want to look at it. Just to look at it. Oh, and so you always have to match the algae where you're touching? That honestly kills a lot of it for me. I guess this is to make it look nice. I guess you have empty spaces if you don't want to put things somewhere. There are 5 algae colors: red, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So there are specific things that are wild. All right, I'm back on board. All water tiles have 1, 2, or 3 colors of algae. Cool, I like this. There are only 5 different shapes. Whenever you get 6, you can split them up into whatever you want. That's kind of cool. This is to help visualize, which I think that's a nice accessibility tool. Might have not been able to be visualized over my big fat face, but now you can visualize it up there. It's an accessibility tool. I just don't know how I feel about this placement, that you have to match things. Like here, I would love to do something like this, because I feel like it gives you more agency. I feel like this then means it feels like it might be all sort of deterministic, or already determined, rather. Non-deterministic. I do like that you do have a choice of your tiles, so you're choosing when something is forced. I guess when you're placing things, because they all have the same colors, you're essentially forcing the other colors that players could get. Feels like it could be really AP as well. Oh, so you always have the same base scoring as well, which is matching colors, symmetric pairs, and different shapes. And then you'll have a guest judge. Yeah, this seems kind of neat. 45 doesn't seem unreasonable, 60 Canadian. And then what is... Oh, you get some... Get a discount there, and then 10 to 15 for shipping to the US? 15 to 20? I mean, that still makes it 65, like an $85, $90 game for me, which I am not interested, but at 45, yeah, would definitely consider it. It's not 45, it's 60 US, but, you know, at 45, I would consider it. Cool, neat little looking game. a good addition to the abstract genre for sure. And that finishes Thursday, October 26th at 5:02 p.m. Moving along to Hello Kitty, Day at the Park. Join Hello Kitty and friends on a day out at the park, exploring new tiles, collecting item tokens, and completing adventures to win. I think this might be really good. You know, sometimes these sorts of games where you don't think they're going to be good actually just slap. And that's what I'm hoping happens as Hello Kitty does a sensible split before eating her cupcake. Oh no, that's just her tail. Oh, I've made a horrible mistake. All right. I mean, it's clearly a kid's game. I don't know what I was expecting. I do know what I was expecting, and I said it out loud. Ages 8 plus. I think this might actually be a decent kid's game. You'll do each of the following actions. You'll play a tile. You'll move your character, you'll complete adventures, and of course, the most important thing to do on your turn, you will end your turn. Anyway, when you place a tile, you gain tokens, this little token in the corner, because you have to match it up with a little puzzle. Oh, and then you move your character, which will gain tokens of whatever you jump on. And then you use that to complete a thing, and you gain points for it. That video of Becca Scott looks like she's being held at gunpoint. And cupcakes. It's okay, you didn't need to click the paid promotion. We get it. How much are you? $30 for the retail edition. Yeah, wait for that. This is the Kickstarter exclusive edition. Ooh, which gives you acrylic tokens, which you would never need for a Hello Kitty. I mean, actually, maybe if you're going to play it with your slobbery children who like to slobber all over the... Was there a rulebook? Nah, but this is pretty much all you need to know. What's shipping like? 18 or 21 or 28 to Canada, 38, 33. Nope. But this has raised a bunch of stuff, and if this excites you, it'll probably hit mass market because it's Hello Kitty, and so it'll hit mass market, and why would you ever pay for the retail edition right now? No reason to. That finishes Friday, October 27th at 12:59 a.m. Moving along. This is probably bad. Warped, the psychedelic card game. Oh, no. An out-of-this-world, trippy answer card game based on expanding your mind, building community, and laughter. Oh, yeah! Oh, this looks like it sucks. Get ready to lie. Get ready to steal. How to play fib. You determine the storyteller, so you're going to choose 3 stories, and then one of them's a lie. And it's like, you got to make it up. Where's the stealing? Where's the stealing in action? Should I feel bad that a game about lying lied to me? I don't know, but let's move on to, well, we're not covering this either, but I just wanted to talk about it because it's on Gamefound. It's Margrave the Marcher Lords, which, now that I say it out loud, makes me really laugh. Is there any name funnier than Margrave? Yes, it's Grumple, and you should give all of your children that as the middle name. You can send them my way if they get upset at you. Please do. I believe in you, community. Grumple. Grumple as a middle name. Anyway, I wanted to point this one out because it's raised £22,000, $36,000 Canadian from 48 backers. And it's a nice new miniature game. Do we think this is real? Do we really think this is real? 3 Sales Studios, what have you done before? You haven't done anything. Do we think this is real? I'm curious. I'm really just curious if somebody out there who's a real person is, I mean, I guess it would be very simple for the creators to just jump on and be like, no, I'm really excited about Margrave. It's like a new skirmish game that does everything that all the other skirmish games do. Anyway, I'm curious who these 48 backers are and how they've put together $36,000 on an unknown miniature game. But I guess they had 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, so, but I've seen people purchase subscribers before and their accounts go up. And then their counts go down. I don't know, they're going off 50 models for 150 Canadian. If you like the models, I guess. I just thought that was very sus, so wanted to point it out. Let's move along to Merchants of Magick, Dangerous Business, and Draught of Dragons. I know it's draft, but I like saying draught. Grab this crunchy roll and write game along with 2 new expansions that offer a ton of modular variety and introduce new exciting mechanics. This actually looks quite fun. 1 to 8 players. Basically, you are going to roll 4 dice, 4 different numbered dice, and take 2 of those numbers and cross off what you want to create. And you want to create things for your customers. All of these cards. But the cool thing is that let's go to how to play, because I'm sure that I thought there was going to be some gifts here. Anyway, the cool thing is that the cards and the things you can sell to your customers, the fulfilling the orders, go around the board. and so you only have a limited time to fulfill that for a customer, or then it goes to somebody else. And I think that idea of pushing your luck, going towards a certain strategy only to not get the dice and have it roll out of your grasp and go to somebody else seems very exciting. Rulebook, yes, I love it. Rulebook. This is for the base game. Yeah, Merchants of Magic, base game. Cool. Cool. And chaining everything together allows you to get potions, which allow you to use extra dice to unlock even more stuff. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know what the potions did. This looks great. I think the Dangerous Business expansion also looks pretty interesting. Basically, you have an adventurer who's going to be fighting different people, so it encourages you to beef up your adventurer and maybe not focus as much on the enchantments and etc., which is kind of interesting. The Draft of Dragons doesn't seem as exciting to me. It's just new order cards, and the fact that you can reserve orders because they're a little bit more complicated to get. That takes away what I think looks fun about the game. Even though it does add in a brand new phase, I also don't care about enticing, because enticing takes it away from somebody else, and that also takes away what I am currently excited about the game. But the base game looks really cool. Dangerous Business and Draft of the Dragons are both $20 each. Merchants of Magic is $30 each. I wonder how much at my store if they have it. Yeah, it's like $26 Canadian. It's sold out at 401 Games, but back in the day, that was pretty good. I would probably then wait for retail, personally. What's shipping like? 29 or 40 Canadian, Zone 1, one gamer expansion, $8. So $8 to the US, $10 to Canada, so I'm looking at like $50 Canadian, when I can probably get it from my store for 30 down the line. But still, it looks pretty sweet. Way to go, Rock Manor Games. That, if you're interested in that, that finishes Friday, October 27th at 4 p.m. Next up, we have Mind Cycling. And really, I don't think this looks that good. I'm sorry. And so we're not really going to talk about it. Just take my word for it, because you're moving. Well, I guess I'm talking about it. Every cyclist can move a certain number. And if you're moving against the wind, you lose one of that number. And so you want to just hide behind another cyclist and just draft off of them so that you can continue to move. Only 3 can make a train. It seems like a racing game and not an interesting racing game. So it already has a strike against it being a racing game. And then the fact that it just looks kind of boring. Sorry, Mind Cycling. I interpreted this, why it's staying in, is because I interpreted this as somebody just thinking about cycling. And I would much prefer that game where it's Mind Cycling. And you're just trying to control the bike with your mind, or just thinking about it. You're just thinking about cycling, and whoever thinks about it the most wins the game. All right, let's move on. Oh yeah, here's something people might be interested in. This is the board Butler, which flattens your game boards. A quick, easy, and elegant way to flatten your game boards. Works with nearly all game boards. Attach and detach in seconds. Transparent. Well, just take a look at this insightful video. Oh, well, when my internet loads it, we're at 99%. I know I'm doing this. This is a plague that has plagued all of us at one point in time. So let's see how the board Butler with his fancy white gloves can fix this. I love that the board Butler is placing it on sides that don't need to be straightened out quite yet. The board Butler did fix it. It actually works very well. Just a big old clip, basically. I mean, really, this is fine unless it's like $1 bajillion. A set of 6, $15. 21 Canadian, then plus shipping, so $5 per clip. I would probably just get something else. I mean, to be fair, this is a good pitch that it's got to be larger in order to like really grab it all and lay it flat. Oh, and this is actually a very wow. Okay, I'm changing my tune. The fact that you have something like that you can pick up the board with stuff on it and it doesn't collapse underneath it, that's pretty interesting. Yeah, pretty neat. $15, not bad. What's shipping? There is shipping. $5 to the USA. What's to Canada? $10 to Canada? Yeah, probably not. Still feels expensive, but definitely something that people will enjoy, and I can see why it's raised that much. If you're interested in that, it finishes Saturday, October 28th at 12 a.m. Moving along to Hoard the Hams. Hoard the Hams is the inaugural Haminations card game. I don't know what that is, but they clearly have a following which wants to give them more money. Hoard the Hams, steal from others, protect what you've got. This is another Exploding Kittens knockoff. Unstable Unicorns knockoff. Yeah, Haminations, who have 4.85 million subscribers. This is just a basic card game, probably. but let's look at it before we keep it insulting it. Yeah, this looks horrible. So hi, Haminations fans. If you're here, if you somehow managed to get here, please don't buy this game. I mean, like, I'm happy for you, Haminations, but you already have 4.85 million subscribers. You don't need this to succeed. You're fine. If you want to play a game that's a card game that might be a little bit more interesting strategically, this is kind of just a luck fest of throwing things down and just seeing what happens. But I've got news for you. Actually, board games are better than that. Board games are more involved and more strategic and can tickle your brain and make you feel oh so satisfied by planning something out rather than just letting the cards decide your fate. Sure, it's fun to throw down a card and take a card from somebody else, but we're done playing Go Fish. Why don't you try something like No Thanks, where you have to time out when to take negative points or not. Negative points! Hey, if you like negative points, try the classic game Take 5, or 6 Nimped, where you're laying out cards in a row, but you don't want to lay the 6th one, or else you have to take all the cards and you get a bunch of negative points. There's a lot of ways where you can still get that feeling of screwage in card games that just aren't basic and blatant ripoffs of other card games that are kind of universally known for being pretty basic, not giving you that sense of joy moving forward. But hey, if you love your YouTuber friend, fair enough, we are pretty fun, and you like the animation and you want to support your YouTuber friends with their dreams, then go for it. But if you like games at all, or fun, I would advise you to pick something else. That finishes Saturday, October 8th, October 28th at 12:03 a.m. Moving along to Jack Be Nimble. And yeah, I did click on this just for the really unfortunate picture right there. Or maybe it's just unfortunate for me because my patrons have corrupted me. I guess I'll look at it. Who knows if this is staying in. All right, I am going to talk about it because you know why? It's got PVC waterproof cards. Move over, Chip Theory. This is produced by Chip Theory. We know it. That can be erased and splashed on without worry. If you wanted a game where you could just splash all over each other, well, Jack Be Nimble might be that game. This is a family game, all right? Keep it PG. So you have a category, and then you choose a word that you think people are going to guess. And then you go around with a little thimble of water, and if they guess that, you splash them with it. That's it. I mean, honestly, this is a better choice than Hoard the Hams. I don't know how much you are. $15. Yeah, less money than Hoard the Hams. Whoever doesn't get splashed the most wins the game. I don't even think there was a way to win the game, but apparently there is. Cute enough. Kids will like this, and you can play it in your house because it's a thimble of water. So you get the enjoyment of splashing somebody's face. Yeah, I think there's actually merit to this game. I do. So that finishes Sunday, October 29th at 1:30 p.m. Go for it if you want. I don't know, or just make it up. I think kids will like splashing water on their parents' faces, and that might be worth the price of admission. Who knows? Moving along, just quickly, to Monster Scenery Container Shipyard. A complete line of containers to bring your tabletop war games and miniature terrain to life. Collect them, build them, and stack them. I thought this was a funny take that this was going to be a game based upon like the shipping crisis and getting your games off the shipping containers, and thought it was going to be very meta. But it's really just a bunch of mini shipping containers. And I don't know what game you're playing where you need a bunch of shipping containers, but if you do, it exists. So that's all I wanted to say about that one. Moving along to Gamefold, the first folding table designed for gaming. Dice-friendly lip, just like mine. Stupid. 3 built-in, 360 sliding rails, 6x3 or 6x6, patent pending. Watch the video to learn all about the features. Okay, I will. But it's raised a bunch of money, $1.5 million. So let's see. Because it's going to fold over, and it's just a folding table with just a big old lip on it. But I'm interested to see if it compares with whatever you could get at Costco. Cool. Yeah, I've seen you get a free neoprene mat with each table pledge. Yeah, I saw these being advertised. It's $250 for a folding table, which has the built-in rails lip and a carrying handle and all applicable stretch goals. What are the stretch goals, though? That's the key. Or you can get it with all the accessories, which is 6 shelves. I think you'd want the shelves on this one, because apparently the shelves are indented, or that's what the video was saying. Yeah, the shelves are a little indented, which is a smart idea. 6 small trays, built-in rail lip, cup holders. That's the whole kit and caboodle. Does it also come with a topper there? Plus toppers, $5.39. Like, then you're getting into, I don't know, you're getting into almost like heavy-duty board game table. 2 Gamefold tables plus accessories. So you can take them out, you can make them modular like this and have a 6x6 if you really wanted. I'm interested in this. I love the mandate of this, and I love how so many people are going gung-ho for this. I also don't have a very large space. I do not have room for a gaming table myself. And I have a table. I have the IKEA one that folds down, the IKEA Norden, the Norden Gat leg. Jesus, it's going up in price. It used to be like 300. It used to be like 200. It used to be like 150, honestly. For this price, I wouldn't recommend it. For this price, well, comparatively, maybe the Gamefold is the way to do it. Great name. You only have to pay $250 instead of $342 Canadian instead of $399. Let's see what the shipping is. 3 feet though. I don't know if 3 feet is that much. I also don't know why they're using a Monopoly board to showcase it. Like if you just play Monopoly, you're not going to have a gaming table. You really aren't. I love that the topper, the back sides are whiteboard. They said in the video that seems cool. But here's a pandemic board. Pandemic boards are small, right? They're small. And the fact that these things are hanging over them, I just don't think you're going to get a huge board. Like a Rising Sun size board, which is similar to like a Ticket to Ride size board, is about 2 feet in width, right? So that gives you half a foot. That gives you 6 inches on either side. If you're looking for a table, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, they say, why would you not get a plastic folding table? Because it's not as durable. Gamefold is, they're saying you can sit on it. It doesn't have accessories, isn't customizable. I don't know if it's a game-friendly size, honestly. On seeing these two side by side, I don't know why I wouldn't just purchase a folding table and glue some 2x4s on the side of it. I don't know why I wouldn't do that. But still, it looks like people are getting excited about this. I like the customizable. The rail system seems nice. Seems like it is easy to clip in. So $250, not bad. I heard Game Trace is coming out with a table as well. Interested in seeing what that's like. And there was another one that was out, which looked too good to be true. Oh no, it's still up. It's not under board game tables, it's under gaming hardware. So let's look at that now, because Gamefold also finishes on the 30th. Toyzzo finishes on the 29th, which is making the claim that you can get a plywoody table with RGB lighting, wireless chargers, cup holders, snack boxes, playing card cases, chip hooks, and Bluetooth speakers for $269, or you can get it with a topper for $299. Honestly, at that price, and then the shipping's like $100 or something. On that price, it's probably a scam, but I really, really, really want it not to be. I know they said you could even pick it up, self-pickup, and then people are like, listen, I work for that company. You can't pick it up. People keep saying this is a scam. Krista Luna thinks it's a scam. Well, I was muted, but basically I was saying that this isn't really like a bot check, because you can think, oh, okay, only 222 might be bots if you're trying to like inflate the campaign. They don't really need it to be inflated. I've seen in the comments a lot of people saying, oh, there are probably bots on this one. They don't really need it to be inflated because at 500,000, or maybe they do. And if I was Toyzzo and I was going to get a bunch of bots to pledge for this and give Kickstarter 5% of something, I would get my bots to back something on Kickstarter like 3 months in advance, or those accounts, and then I would get them to back this. So this returning backers fact it may not play too much into it. I'm happy that Gamefold does exist and shows, like, I think this is how much it costs to make this table and make margin on it, and the fact that they're trying to do what Board Game Tables does in like $800, I of course meant all play. The fact that they're putting it on for $300, I desperately want to live in a world where you can get this for $300, and that it's just like crappy melamine or something. But also that IKEA can't make a Norden for less than $400 at this point. But I think that is Canadian, so around the same price. I don't know. IKEA can do it maybe around the same price, but it doesn't have LED stuff and customizable stuff. Oh, well, if somebody gets this, I'm going to be looking every month to see if anybody's ever gotten it, if they provide any updates. But of course, they're not going to, because they just kind of pin comments. Okay, let's move on. But let's move on later, because I gotta go. Eat some sushi. Goodbye. All right, where were we? On to Keyforge, Grim Reminders. Last year, Keyforge made a triumphant return to the world with Keyforge Winds of Exchange. Now the time has come to back its darker sequel, Keyforge Grim Reminders. Different than Keyforge Grim Fandango. See, I don't even know what Grim Fandango is. It's a character, right? It's an adventure game. Oh, that kind of published by LucasArts. Tim Schafer. The more you know. Let's check it out. So it's just more Keyforge, 240 new cards. The key to this special two-player head-to-head card game, well, no, Yugi, actually it's different because you come with your own deck. There's no deck construction, you just take a deck and you face off against somebody. And that's why you can always just go out and buy a Keyforge deck and play Keyforge. And everybody's on the same playing field because everybody has a randomized deck. Keyforge raised $1 million when it came back. That should show you how much people enjoy this. You have the new House Geistoid. More than 250 new cards from houses Geistoid, Brobnar, Equidon, Star Alliance, Mars, Untamed, and Unfathomable. And so with these houses, basically on your turn, you can choose to play one house. You can choose to play and activate one specific type of card. And so every deck is generally broken up into 3 different types of cards. And on your turn, you look at your hand and say, hey, which one do I have the most of? Or which one is the most advantageous to play these cards from and to activate from? Which is fun. You have to collect 3 keys. You get little 6 shards of amber to get a key. First person to get 18 of those to create 3 keys wins the game. What I don't appreciate, I guess $60 is okay, but it's like 83 Canadian, then it's like $100, and like the beauty of Keyforge is that you could go to your store and just like get a pack or 2, $5 each or however much these decks are, and then just play the game. And so when they try to sell it to you for 100, yeah, you get some variability, but I would just rather I think you should just start with the packs. I think you should give it a try if you're a fan of 2-player head-to-head card games and that genre. That's definitely something to look into. I think Keyforge is very fun and is kind of at the tops of those sorts of games for me. But still, I wouldn't want to spend $100 on it to get into it because I don't think you need to. And I think the joy of it. See, a Grim Reminders deck you can get for $10, right? So if you want to play against your friend, you can get it for $20 for the whole experience and just play back and forth and swap the decks. And you can have a lot of fun and replayability with just like a couple decks. Anyway, what's shipping look like? I see. No internet issues here. Novice of the Crucible, $12 to get to US, $27 to get to Canada. Like, it's over $100. It's $120 for me, and that's not what I'm going to ever pay for Keyforge. $72 in the US still feels really pricey when down the line you can get some decks on sale, right? Retailers are going to stock it, and then they're going to sell it for cheaper when they have too much stock. Probably. Maybe I'm just spoiled because that's how Zach introduced me to Keyforge. He said he got a whole whack of decks from somebody for like $2 a deck. And for that price, it was just like the steal of the century. Felt so good. We've played it a bunch. Thoroughly enjoy my time with it. For $72, I think you just wait and you get a couple decks and you see if you like it. And then you can just get more if you feel like you want to throw in some variability into the mix. But just a really fantastic game. I can't fault it whatsoever. That finishes October 31st, Halloween at 2 a.m. Moving along to Davy Jones' Locker, the Curse of the Ghost Ships expansion. I don't know. Let's check this one out. A new foe haunts the seas. Team up with your friends in this co-op experience to send the Banshee back down to Davy Jones' Locker. Well, that video got me incredibly hyped for something that I'd never heard or cared about before. But will it live up to it? That's the question. I want to know how you play the main Davy Jones' Locker and see what the difference is. That's what I want. New enemies, new equipment, new crew members, new ships, so a whole bunch of stuff in the expansion. Davy Jones' Locker, the Kraken Wakes. I was going to say waves, but I saved it. Do you see how I saved it? I'm pretty sure I saved it. And the new expansion, $120. The regular game is $85. So a new enemy, the Banshee. So that makes me think that the overarching Act 1, Act 2 structure of the game still exists in the first one. I guess we'll see, because there's an overarching Act 1, Act 2 structure in this. You go around, you search for treasure, you get bolstered up, and then the ghost ship emerges and you have to take down the armada in this co-op experience. The ghost ship armada, the ghost armada, the ghost pepper armada, who find the cursed gold and bring it back to Phantom Island. Ooh, these names are very good. To summon the Banshee. When you have 4 curses on your ship, you are possessed and start attacking your allies. That's cool. Unearth new equipment to upgrade your ship. And you no longer need to use cannons, but of course you can siphon souls. Okay, base game box, you're going to be fighting the Kraken. So it'd be a similar thing. You go around, you get treasure, and then the Kraken will pop up with a bunch of unique tentacles, and you got to go fight them all. So it feels like a very similar flow. Probably don't need the ghost ships, but the ghost ships are cool and are just another big bad enemy to face because there's a co-op and you want to face different big bad enemies. We're not happy with just one anymore. We want a million replayable one-shot scenarios that we will never replay because we feel like they're not replayable because we beat it once. That's what we like. Just me? It was just me. Read the rulebook. Yeah, I'd love to. And I love that they have both rulebooks here. That's awesome. They have the Kraken Wakes and Curse of the Ghost Pirate. Way to go, making it accessible for people to figure out what your game is all about. So Act 1 is exactly this, visiting ports and equipping your ships for battle. So this is the preparation phase. I'm always interested about games that have an Act 1 and Act 2. Like Jaws has this as well, where one player or not gets stronger in the second act based upon what you do in the first act. And I'm always skeptical that I wouldn't just want to play the second act. But if the build-up is fun enough, and hopefully it is, then it might be fun to go out and explore things. And this is kind of like Betrayal at House on the Hill, right? I take it all back. I enjoy that initial process. I like that idea of getting different items and getting different weapons and then not knowing what's to come, but knowing something will come. Kind of adds a little bit of excitement to it. When is Act 2 going to trigger? Each ship has 5 stats: sail, attack, hull, repair, and integrity. It's a very honest ship you've got there. Thank you. Once you have 0 integrity, you're dead. You're dead to the world. Each ship has a unique ability. Cool. You're going to be collecting cards that will go under here. These market cards, which I assume will give you special powers. Each round will have a random event, then players will take their turn, taking up to 3 actions. Actions you can only use once. There are 11 actions that you can do: sail, trade, repair, plunder, attack, because you can encounter enemies in the open sea, even before the Kraken comes up. Explore a port, that's the most exciting one. Then you make a roll, and something happens. Yeah, very Betrayal at House on the Hill, not pirate betrayal that's going to happen to you in port. It's definitely not going to be the case. Oh, okay, market cards can be used or activated at any time, so they're to help modify your rolls. That's what it is. So very sandbox style of things that you can do, but they're going to be pretty much tied into the board spaces, right? Some things will have a market. You could bolster your stats. Everything to work towards modifying your dice rolls. And then finally the Kraken will wake when a card cannot be drawn from the event deck at the beginning of the round, or a player's draw a 3rd Kraken modifier card from the open sea deck. Cool. Act 2 immediately begins. Board gets flipped. Black spots get determined. The black spots are like the 3 random abilities that the Kraken has. And then the Kraken board has all the attack and defense stats for all the tentacles and how they move and how they activate. Cool. And then the amount of actions you can do when the Kraken's up there are fewer because basically you gotta punch it in the face. You can trade, sail, and attack. That's basically it. Or rescue deckhands. This is sounding familiar with the rescuing the deckhands. I probably did cover this. I should have just checked. Yeah, July 2022. I did cover this. See, I knew this was sounding familiar. Yeah, it was the rescue deckhands that stood out to me. It's kind of a neat way to deal with player elimination where you join somebody else's ship and then you help. It's kind of cool. Anyway, shipping, base game only. US or Canada 25. Oh, base game and expansion 28. Right, so even if you just wanted this base game, it would still be $100 US, at least 110. That's like 140. It seems interesting, and definitely seems fun. Gets up there on the potentials, but I think a little bit too much to spend for me personally, but I am cheap, as you all know. But if you're interested in that, yeah, definitely check it out. It finishes Tuesday, October 31st at 10 a.m. The Ghost Ship does seem really fun, but I think you certainly don't need to jump all in. I think the base game will provide you equally a good time. I think if you don't like that aspect of searching the islands beforehand, or that sort of betrayal vibe, but like a co-op betrayal, take a pass. But if you're interested, check it out. Tuesday, October 31st, 10 a.m. Moving along to Erune, Light and Darkness. Erune's back with Light and Darkness. Okay, have I covered this one before? I don't know. It's, I used to think I'd remember everything. and now I'm really disappointed that I haven't. Dive into a next-gen hybrid dungeon crawler, new quests, heroes, lore, and foes await. We're going to see right away if we've covered it before. Spark Riders. Spark Riders looked cool, I think. I remember seeing that ship. When was Erune covered? Aha, 2020. I haven't. Let's rectify that right now. Okay, this is a great video. Really, really good. But I'm just pausing right now because I think it's really cool that the spirit of Erune can just exist on your phone. It's so magical that way. It's just an app. What also is cool is that the monsters that are revealed, you don't know their hit points. And so kind of like Nemesis, where it's exciting you don't know the hit points, you have to attack it and see how strong they are. And I think that maybe sets it apart from a lot of other different dungeon crawlers where you do know the hit points. Here it's you got to charge in. You don't know if you're going to survive or not. And I think that leads to a lot of excitement. I'll talk more about it in a second, but I wanted to say that before I forgot. This looks really good. This looks more exciting than League of Dungeoneers, I'll tell you that, if you're between the two. 89 euros, 128 Canadian, that makes sense. Oh no, this is only an expansion for the Erune core game. Oh no. Master Pledge, oh yikes. Receive the Erune Light and Darkness box with core game and both expansions. That's 215, so 300 Canadian. Oh, now we're getting up there. Makes sense, but I want to know, what if I just want the base game? I'm not quite sure how many of the base game or what is included then in this Light and Darkness, so that's something I want to figure out. But really good video to like get you pumped and also show some good gameplay. Basically, this is an app-driven dungeon crawler where the app does a whole bunch of the work. If you liked Dark Tower, oh no, I shouldn't have said that. I know one of my patrons likes Dark Tower and is a serial backer, and just by saying those words, I know that he's backed it. No, I take it back. If you like Dark Tower, stay away. Stay away. But it has that same sort of app that controls a lot of the bookkeeping, which I like a lot. I do like that a lot in a campaign game because then it keeps you focused on the things that are fun. It also gives you an option of a one versus all adventure, and I don't think that's the one you should do. It doesn't seem like the Master of Shadows. What you get to do is as interesting as being a player itself. The other thing that I thought was cool that they mentioned in the video is that depending upon who talks to the characters that you meet in the world, you might have a different result. And so I like that. I like that there's this inherent lore built in. It's like, what happens if the warrior talks to the bard? The bard's like, hey, I'll play you a song. You get this option. And the wizard talks to the bard. The bard's like, hey, I hate wizards. Go away. I'm magic over these strings. And so I think that is also a really interesting thing as well. Oh, also the tech trees and how you can level up, and that you can level up a whole bunch of stats and get a whole bunch of new skills seems pretty cool to me as well. This looks pretty fun, but man, that Master Pledge is expensive. You do get a bunch of fun minis. I do love when the goblins jump on top of the riders. That seems pretty neat. The devil hounds and then become riders, goblin riders. That was pretty cool. Okay, and a whole bunch of stuff. What you get, and this terrain, all these minis too. I don't know if I want it. Do we need the barrels? Do we need all the minis? Could we have tokens? Maybe it's easier to set up. And you can be in the game. I always love when games do that. So here's what you get for Light and Darkness. 47 miniatures, 163 cards, 6 tokens. So you get the Monk and the Demon Hunter. And you just get a bunch of different monsters. Okay, so it seems like the core of the game, a bunch of different exterior tiles. Yeah, it seems like the core game will still have all of the benefits from the main game. Oh, nice. And there's an upgrade pack, too, if you wanted the bonus stuff that you didn't get at Kickstarter. And this is great. Interested by a standee version? If you're on a budget, we would like to offer an alternative. The Journey Pledge would be a version of the core game with 2 expansions with beautiful painted standees. Fill out the form link below and let us know if that's a version of the game that you need, which basically means they're not going to go through the work of producing it unless there's a market for it. But if there is a market for it, they would produce it. I think that's awesome. Let's click on it and see what this goes. And it just goes to a Google form that asks you, why do you want it? You want it to be cheaper, or do you want it without minis? I communicate with you through your mobile phone, righteous judge of Erune, impartial guide, your storyteller, your atmosphere's conductor. Yeah, I think that's great. You also unveil the maps. This is what League of Dungeoneers does as well. Interactive rule book. Yeah, you have an interactive rule book that you can just ask the questions while you're playing the game. Oh man, that's huge. Okay, where are the add-ons? Get me to the add-ons to see if I can just get the core game. Rulebook preview, yeah, of course we're gonna check it out. How to play, it seems pretty standard, like pretty standard dungeon crawler. You move, you open doors, and you talk to NPCs, and then you roll a bunch of dice to destroy people. Oh, and if the fact that you can mount furniture too makes it maybe makes sense to have that furniture there. But yeah, then you have your bunch of your offensive skills, your defensive skills, tactical, reaction, magic skills, and you can go up this little tech tree to unlock your special abilities. Yeah, I know it's cool. I want to see if I can just get, if there's just the add-on. I think we're at the bottom. This should tell you something. I am so interested in seeing some other things that I forgot all about shipping. Legendary Pledge, 15 to 40 euros. That's a large range. That is a really, really large range, and you have to assume that it's somewhere like 35 euros. So for the Legendary Pledge, which is just the expansion, we're looking at the Master Pledge. For me, it would be 20 to 40 euros. So again, 40 euros. It's like $350, which is wild. A wild amount of money to spend on it. If the base game, well, let's see, Master Pledge is 215. We can probably do the math. Legendary Pledge is 89. So 125 euros, 150 Canadian is what they're looking for, maybe? 160 Canadian. Still pretty expensive. But they have one under their belt. It seems like they've delivered that. Oh, there's a special little dragon that you can add on. People were wondering why it wasn't on 250K. Yeah, I do love the plastic color choices. I love, love, love when a game adds colored plastic in, because I don't paint that many of my minis. I paint a lot of them personally, and I am the best painter. But in case I feel like not painting them, then it's nice to have the colors there already done. Okay, let's look at the rulebook quickly, but I feel like I got such a good feel of the game from that video that I don't really need to know. Yeah, don't play as the Master of Shadows. That one doesn't look fun. Solo co-op, though, looks fun. Because it seems very simple. Each adventurer can play 2 basic actions, and those actions are... Oh, I thought it said I embody lunch. I am the spirit of Erune. I embody lunch. I know what you want to eat tomorrow. I make you evolve. Somebody certainly does. Oh, the quest book is for the Master of Shadows' eyes only. The adventurers never read it. Oh, okay, so you can look ahead if you are the Master of Shadows, and so you know what's going to happen, know what curses to put on people. That's cool. The adventurers, you get the Guardian, the Warrior, the Archer, and the Wizard in the base deck, all with their own cards. 18 quests rebalanced. Oh, okay, so they're putting out, so it's Erune Light and Darkness core game, and so it has the box with both the expansions, so I think it's in that one box. I see. So they probably can't get it for cheaper. Yeah, this rules seem solid, pretty easy to understand. There's some line of sight, but also the app will be able to tell you a lot of things, or at least that's what I'm banking on. If anybody had the original Spirit of Erune, let me know. This one does look exciting, but it looks very expensive. It's not something that, I don't know what would get me to pull the trigger. I know dungeon crawls aren't my favorite genre. I still have Gloomhaven. I have Iridia coming. I have like a bunch on the shelf. It's too much to just keep on getting things because they look cool and to not play them. And so that's what would stop me on this one. But this one I think looks quite good. And that finishes Tuesday, October 31st at 12:42 p.m. I hope it is. I hope it is for all those who get it. Moving along to 99 Ninja. A micro dojo game. Place transparent tiles on 3 ninja clans to remove the samurai protectors and eliminate the enemy daimyo. This is by the team that brought you the other micro dojo. Micro dojo, loyalty and deceit. And then micro bots as well, duel and power up. Oh, okay, that's cool. I remember that one as well. 99 Ninja micro dojo game is the one that we are looking at today, though. So let's look at only on Kickstarter. That makes sense because it's so small. This is your only chance to get it. FOMO, FOMO, FOMO. Here it comes. A huge heaping dose. Ooh, PVC cards as well. That seems nice for a cheaper game. 15 pounds. I thought it was 15 bucks. So 25 Canadian, but still, small game. Let's check it out. There's going to be a polyomino head-to-head battle as you surround different ninjas on the board, and then you bid on tracks at the end. That's the very, very low-level overview. 99 giant ninja meeple boxes to hold your game, 33 of each color, just like in the game. The pledge includes a copy of the game inside. A limited edition ninja meeple box. Honestly, it's It's pretty cool. It's completely not space efficient, but it's pretty cool. 26 have gotten the black one. That's surprising. I think I would have thought people would want color. 8 on the red and 3 on the white. Okay, let's talk about the game. How to play. In 99 Ninja, you and your opponents take control of 3 different ninja clans using transparent cards to cover up samurai protectors and surround the enemy daimyo. The game ends with a final showdown where players secretly assign their points to the 3 scoring tracks in the hopes of stealing victory. Oh, so there's a neutral clan that you can swap with to change your scoring as well. That's kind of neat. Aha, so all the cards, as you see, are this 3x3 grid. You score points when you cover samurai with ninja of your current clan color. So only of your current clan color, that makes the swapping of the clans make sense. And when a daimyo has no more samurai left around it, you then get to put your own little daimyo on it. Oh, cool, and you're going to be drawing from the bottom of the deck. That makes sense, so that you can cover up. That's a smart way of doing it. You just cover up what you can see, so everything stays random. And it also comes with some modules. Hit list, Ronin, and some clan techniques. The clan techniques sound exciting to me. Special powers that can be used by the current ninja clan by spending favor, because you all have your own sort of techniques, but their special clan techniques also gives like that mix and match. Download the rulebook, halfway down the page. I just want to know if there's any restrictions on covering up other players' ninjas, because I wouldn't want it to be a fest of covering people up, but the goal is to cover up the daimyos anyway, so, and covering up the samurai gets you points. You don't necessarily get points for covering up your opponents, so that would encourage you to just cover up the samurai, right? Okay, so scoring the daimyo are eliminated when there's no samurai in the 8 spaces. You place your lower numbered daimyo token on top of the enemy daimyo, and then the opponent flips their highest numbered daimyo onto the favor side. Then you score points equal to the number of ninja matching your clan adjacent to the daimyo. That makes sense. But the important part about that is because when it goes to the final showdown, each of the daimyo is going to be worth, if I zoom in, you can see here, it's like, why is this 3 and why is this 6 and why is this 8? That's because this daimyo is worth 3, that daimyo is worth 4, 2, 2, and your favorite tokens are just worth 1. So if you're flipping over your opponent's favorite token, then that means that they aren't going to be able to use it, really, in the final showdown. And they'll only be able to, for it to count as 1 instead of potentially 4, and that's very important. So you're racing to claim these daimyo in order to get your opponent to have less bidding power in that final showdown. At the same time, pushing things along the tracks so that you can control the tracks, and the winner of the game is the player with the positive score in 2 or 3 of the ninja clans and 2 or 3 of the tracks, winning 2 out of 3 of the tug-of-war games. You know what? I think this looks quite fun as well. We're finishing very strong. They reached out to me to look at this, and I would have done it anyway, but I'm very glad I did. I think it seems simple, elegant. What's shipping? Shipping £3 to the UK, £5 to anywhere else. £5 being $9 Canadian. So $34 to get this to my door. You know what? That's pretty good. That's pretty good for PVC cards. Yeah. I think this one actually looks pretty good. I remember the other one's looking fine, but I think this one looks like the best of the bunch, honestly. Cool, and these are all sort of the creeds of backer-centered crowdfunding. Cool. Available in retail TBA? Yeah, probably not, but I think they should be picked up. I do want to see more about what's in the box. Yeah, here we go. 29 transparent PVC ninja cards, daimyo boards, solo mode and hitless module, technique cards, and wooden cubes. Yeah, I mean, the PVC cards make me more inclined to justify paying a little bit more. 34 Canadian's not that bad. After shipping, I would pick this up for 20, and then plus tax and plus shipping. I think that's actually pretty reasonable. So definitely check this one out. I think it looks quite good. That finishes Tuesday, October 31st at 4 p.m. And actually, one quick shout out. This should probably have existed at the beginning of the episode, but I'm putting it here because I don't want to go put it back at the front. This is Kavango. My buddy Colin told me to look at this and said I missed it in the previous crowdfunding countdown, so I'm checking it out now. It will have finished, but I assume there will be a chance for late pledges. So I wanted to give this a check out because he's very excited about it, and he said he backed it. And he said, oh, I was excited to hear you talk about the thing that I backed, and I had let him down. So let's check this out. Become a conservation expert and build a thriving nature reserve for 1 to 5 players. Kavango. I'm very intrigued. Yeah, developed in Botswana about nature conservation. My initial gut says it's like a drafting version of Earth. That's what I want to say. I'm looking forward to seeing more about it. Yeah, the art is really gorgeous in it. Hand-drawn stuff. You get little animeeples too, which is always great, and dual-layered boards, I think. I saw that. Yeah, double-layered boards to hold your money and cubes in place. 160 cards. Yeah, wingspan is 170 for reference. The base wingspan, so 160 plus a bunch of other cards over here. I'm just thinking about pricing, honestly. So 240, 275-ish, 275, 280-ish, 278. It's 278. No, 288. 288 cards. All right, that's not bad. Oh, and you get large punchboard card trays as well. Nice. I love the punchboard card trays. In the deluxe, you get deluxe card trays and luxury landscape boards and wooden tokens and fabric bags. Yeah, I don't think the deluxe is probably worth it, but let's check out how to play. Where it is. Where it is. Where is it? You get a unique conservation expert to help you throughout the game. You choose a landscape board, which has its own unique starting characteristics. Okay, that's exciting. Choose animals for your sanctuary. Choose 2 animals to go into your sanctuary. Build up your ecosystem and protection so you can introduce them to your reserve later in the game. So these are kind of like your special goals. And then set up the central board. Rounds of 10 turns. Okay, so every turn you're drafting cards, you're playing it into your sanctuary, and you're completing for a research task. And the research tasks change because they're on the board, and so you're vying for those each round, which is cool. I don't know if later on you'll have already lucked into some of them, or if you can prepare for those. But I do like that competition. You can invest your money in protection for your animals and or buy rewilding cards, which allow you to play any producer. Don't know what that means, so that's why I want the rulebook. But to safely introduce vulnerable and endangered animals to your nature reserve, you need to invest money in habitat protection, poaching protection, and working together with other players on climate protection. Cool. I really like that idea that there are some rare species that you're going to need to introduce and need to have. I mean, it's just like tags, right? It's like tags in Earth or Terraforming Mars, where you need those prerequisites to play them, but still pretty good. At the end of the 10th turn in round 3, the game's over. Add your score up. Animals, points from research, and game conservation awards. Download the rules. Bam. Love it. Oh, and has the Rules Girl up there too, which is good. Rules Girl, honestly, is really good. Really well made rules overviews that cover a lot of good stuff. I'm surprised I don't see her on every Kickstarter, to be honest. Probably all booked up. Takes a while to produce them. I mean, I feel like I don't even need to read this rulebook after that Rules Girl video, to be honest with you, but all of my questions were answered. Literally all of my questions that I wanted. What is a producer card? Producer cards are the cards that you will put up here. Let me see if I can get a better picture for you so I can explain it quickly as well. Or you can just go watch that video. Yeah, if you look up here, the setup up here, you start out... that's not close enough, is it? Well, here they are. Producer cards, it shows the type of producer, and you basically slot it under your board. This provides the food for animals. Basically, anytime you want to play an animal, you need to be producing enough food, you need to have enough habitat protection and environmental protection and climate change protection happening. And how you do that is by playing producer cards under your specific board. Or you can take an animal and put it into your sanctuary. That's why the sanctuary is so important, because when you have the requirements, maybe they come around in another hand, your animal immediately moves over. In addition, the little research actions that are on the main board that you're racing to do, it's important to race to get them, because every time you complete one, you get money, which you can use, these research tasks, which you can use to bolster your climate and protection. And also something that excites me about this game is that there are going to be action cards in the drafting hand. But what's cool is you have to make a choice of choosing that action card or playing an animal. And of course, there's going to be a benefit to both. Again, the last thing that I was confused about is at the end, you can pay money to rewild. And what that is basically gives you a choice of additional food that you can produce and helps grow your habitat. If you like drafting, I think you should check this one out. This feels like a really nice pure drafting. It really does feel a bit like Earth, but with drafting. I think I did get that right. Earth, you have to have all these different requirements. You don't have the follow action, but you have this conservation area. You have these different requirements that you're trying to build up. The only thing that I think I might like if it were different in this game is if the animal cards could be used to produce things as well. I know that probably thematically doesn't make any sense, but then you have the potential of hate drafting that card that your opponent has all the perfect resources to build and not taking up a spot in your sanctuary. But if you like engine building, that's what this seems to be. It gives you that Splendor aspect, if you play Splendor the slow way, of building up your engine and having the food to supply certain things. There's going to be a slow build of conservation. This actually looks really, really good. It looks really, really good. And I am honestly super thrilled that Colin is paying the $82 Canadian instead of me. Plus the shipping. Shipping is North America, $20. Oh my goodness. Back Kavango. Back Kavango. You know why? Look at this. They did the effort to put it into your local currency of estimating your shipping. It's in your local currency, people. It's in US dollars, it's in Canadian dollars, it's in euros, it's in pounds, it's in Botswana and South African currency, the rand. I don't know what they have in Botswana, but they have the P, the pand, probably the pand. So 20 Canadian shipping, it'll end up being about $100 for a unique game. Like, I'd love to see this along the same cost as Earth in stores if it were to hit mass market, which is about 16 Canadian. And then I guess after tax, you get like 66, right? I think that would be a perfectly fine price that I would love to pay for this. But honestly, I would be okay paying more because there's a huge focus on conservation. It looks like a slick game. I don't know if it's going to be out there. And it just seems like a really solid drafting game. And I really like drafting games, and that is the main focus of this. And I haven't seen a game that puts drafting so at the forefront with as so much else going on. So awesome. Way to go, Colin. Thank you for bringing it to my attention, buddy. That is exciting. I'm very excited to play this with you. Great choices. You know what? You'll be allowed to come back on the channel, Colin. You'll be allowed to have another dose and dab of the mustard. If you're interested in that, that finished Thursday, October 19th at 12:55 p.m., but there are probably late pledges, and I highly encourage you to go check it out. That looks great. What a finish. What a friggin' finish. I thought this week wasn't that good, to be honest, and I was very prepared to make a 0 pick for me and a 0 pick for you. And these last few have changed all of that for me. I don't even mind that it's so cold in this gazebo. I think it's the best place to film. Yeah, so thrilled about these last ones. And now I actually have a tricky choice. I'm going to go back and look through the other games to see if I'm missing anything. Cretaceous Rails, that one did look fun. Oh yeah, Merchants of Magic did look fun as well. I'll show you so you remember them as well. Remember Cretaceous Rails? That did look fun. Merchants of Magic did kind of look fun. But really, the choices for me are with those last three. Erune, Light and Darkness, 99 Ninja, and Kavango. I think the pick for you is going to be Kavango. That's honored by Colin. It is the pick for you, Colin. And I give you my stamp of approval. It looks great. It looks really cool. It actually got me really pumped up. So that's going to be the pick for you. I think there's going to be an elegance here that people will enjoy in a similar way that they liked Earth. And it might be different enough for those people who didn't like Earth. I'm just so proud of my boy Colin for making a nice choice and for alerting me to this. And what a lovely way to finish off the week. Oh, it just really brings my spirit up. And the pick for me is going to be 99 Ninja. I think this one does look fun as well. I think the price point actually seems really reasonable. And I think the tug of war acts in a way that I wouldn't not enjoy. Because I'm not a huge fan of the tug of war mechanic, but in this aspect, it seems cool. Seems like there is that active race to cover up the daimyo so that you can give your opponent less buying power later on. And then there's still that little bit of a mind game at the end to create kind of a climactic finish, which just touches it all nicely. I think the PVC cards is a nice touch, a durable route. I'm contemplating it, to be fair. To be really fair, I'm really contemplating it. I think it looks quite nice. And the fact that it's at 20K when all these other stuff are at so much more, for sure, pick for me. I go cheap over expensive any day. Erune was really close. Honestly, if Kavango hadn't popped up, this 99 Ninja probably would have been picked for you, and Erune would have been picked for me. But it did pop up. So 99 Ninja is picked for me. Kavango is picked for you. That's it for the week. It was a big week, a very big week. Let me know if you're backing anything. Let me know if you're spending all those hard-earned bucks or if you're saving them sensibly like the sensible people that you are. As always, a lot of this stuff can be purchased at retail. They can down the line and often should. Like the Merchants of Magick, right? I would never back that on Kickstarter because I can see how much cheaper I can get it in stores after the shipping discounts, you know, and on a potential sale. That one looks fun. It's a roll and write that I would be very happy to try and play at some point, but it's just not a back, right? And so I could never advise it to you if I didn't think it was or looked like a good game. And if it looked like a horrible game, well then I would be honest and I would tell you. Anyway, that's it. That's it for the week. Thank you so much for watching. This one felt like a long one, but it's probably about the same length as any other ones. I appreciate you all being here. Don't forget to pinch that like button on your way out. My name is Chris George, and I don't have a catchphrase, and I hope that pinch that like button doesn't become, oh, it's on this side, look at that. Doesn't become a catchphrase, but you never know. You never know. Appreciate you all. I'll just pinch your little cheeks.